Section 1. Introduction. Time, celebration, and the sacred. For traditional societies, time is cyclical. It repeats and is sacred. It connects people to their ancestors and the divine. Festivals mark these cycles. They break the ordinary and bring people together. In ancient Israel, festivals were tied to the agricultural cycle. They celebrated harvest and acknowledged dependence on God. Passover, for example, commemorated the Exodus from Egypt. These festivals were commanded by God and described in the Torah. They involve specific rituals, often with food, prayer, and storytelling. The Passover Seder uses food to retell the Exodus story. Each food has symbolic meaning. Understanding these festivals is key to understanding Jewish identity. They offer a window into the beliefs, values, and historical experiences that have shaped Judaism. They continue to be observed today, connecting Jews to their past and to each other. Festivals are expressions of joy, gratitude, and remembrance. Section 2. Passover, a night of liberation. Passover is a spring festival commemorating the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt. The story is recounted in the book of Exodus. The Israelites, enslaved for generations, were freed by God. This freedom was marked by signs and wonders, culminating in the 10th plague. God passed over the houses of the Israelites, sparing their firstborn sons. This event is remembered in the Passover Seder. Families gather, eat a special meal, and retell the story of the Exodus. The Seder plate holds symbolic foods, each representing an aspect of the Exodus story. Bitter herbs symbolize the bitterness of slavery. Matzah, unleavened bread, represents the haste with which the Israelites fled Egypt. Today, Passover remains one of the most widely observed Jewish holidays. It is a time for families to connect, remember their history, and celebrate freedom. The Seder, with its rituals and storytelling, keeps the memory of the Exodus alive. It is a celebration of liberation and faith. Section 3. Unleavened bread, embracing simplicity, recalling haste. The Feast of Unleavened Bread begins the day after Passover and lasts for 7 days. During this time, Jewish people eat matzah and avoid leavened bread. This practice commemorates the Exodus, when the Israelites left Egypt in haste. Eating matzah is a tangible reminder of the Exodus story. It connects contemporary Jews to their ancestors' experiences and God's deliverance. The simplicity of matzah symbolizes humility and reliance on God. In biblical times, the Feast of Unleavened Bread coincided with the barley harvest. This added another layer of meaning, as it was a time to thank God for the harvest. Today, the festival retains its core meaning, focusing on the themes of freedom, deliverance, and reliance on God. It is a time to remember the Exodus and reflect on its significance. The agricultural aspect is less prominent now. The festival continues to be observed by Jews worldwide. It is a celebration of faith and history. It is a reminder of God's provision and protection. Section 4. First Fruits, the promise of new beginnings. First Fruits was a festival of gratitude, celebrating the first harvest of the year. It took place 50 days after Passover, during the wheat harvest. The first sheaf of wheat was brought to the temple in Jerusalem and offered to God as a thanksgiving offering. This act acknowledged God's provision. The offering of the first fruits was a joyous occasion, accompanied by music and celebration. It was a time for the community to come together, thank God for the harvest, and celebrate the bounty of the land. The festival of first fruits also had a deeper, symbolic meaning. It represented the first fruits of one's labor and was a reminder that everything belongs to God. It was also a time to look forward to the future, as the first fruits were a promise of the harvest to come. While the temple in Jerusalem no longer stands, the concept of first fruits remains relevant. It is a reminder to be grateful for blessings and to dedicate the first fruits of one's labor to God. This dedication can take many forms, from charitable giving to acts of service. It is a celebration of faith and gratitude. It is a time to reflect on the blessings of life. Section 5. Shavuot, Torah, and the Gift of Revelation. Shavuot, also known as the Feast of Weeks, falls 50 days after Passover. It coincides with the biblical festival of first fruits. Shavuot celebrates the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, marking the covenant between God and the Israelites. The Torah contains God's laws and commandments and is the foundation of Jewish life. Shavuot is a time to celebrate this gift, study Torah, and reflect on its teachings. Traditionally, Shavuot is observed by staying up all night to study Torah, emphasizing the importance of engaging with sacred texts. Synagogues hold special services and the Book of Ruth is read aloud. Today, Shavuot remains a significant holiday, celebrating Jewish identity and tradition. It is a reminder of the ongoing covenant between God and the Jewish people. The festival emphasizes the importance of learning, reflection, and the ongoing pursuit of knowledge. It is a celebration of faith and wisdom. It is a time to connect with the teachings of the Torah. It is a reminder of the enduring bond between God and the Jewish people. Section 6. Rosh Hashanah, a time for reflection and renewal. Rosh Hashanah marks the beginning of the Jewish New Year. It is a solemn occasion for reflection, repentance, and renewal. The festival lasts for 2 days and falls on the 1st of Tishrei. Rosh Hashanah is considered the Day of Judgment, when God inscribes the fate of every person for the coming year. It is a time to take stock of one's actions and seek forgiveness for wrongdoings. One of the central rituals of Rosh Hashanah is the blowing of the shofar, a ram's horn trumpet. The sound of the shofar is meant to awaken the soul and call to repentance. It is a reminder of God's sovereignty. Rosh Hashanah is followed by 10 days of repentance known as the Days of Awe, culminating in Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. This period is a time for introspection, prayer, and making amends. It is a time to renew one's commitment to faith and righteousness. It is a celebration of new beginnings and spiritual renewal. It is a reminder of the importance of reflection and repentance. Section 7. Yom Kippur, Atonement and the Embrace of Forgiveness. Yom Kippur is the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, a day of atonement and seeking forgiveness for sins committed against God. It is also a time to seek reconciliation with others. Yom Kippur is observed with a complete fast and work is forbidden. It is a day for prayer and repentance. People wear white, symbolizing purity and a return to a state of spiritual cleanliness. Special services are held in synagogues throughout the day. One of the most important prayers recited is the Vidui, a confession of sins. The Alchet, a litany of transgressions, is also recited. These prayers emphasize the human tendency to err and the need for God's forgiveness. Yom Kippur concludes with the Ne'ilah service, a final opportunity to pray for forgiveness. The gates of heaven are said to close at the end of this service. The day ends with the blowing of the shofar, signaling the end of the fast and the hope for a year of blessing. It is a day of spiritual renewal and reconciliation. Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles, begins 5 days after Yom Kippur. It is a joyous occasion and lasts for 7 days. Sukkot commemorates the Israelites' 40 years of wandering in the desert after the Exodus, serving as a reminder of God's protection and provision. During Sukkot, Jews build temporary shelters called sukkot, typically made of wood and covered with branches. Families eat their meals in the sukkah and some even sleep in it, to evoke the fragility of life in the desert. The sukkah serves as a visual reminder of the Israelites' reliance on God. It symbolizes vulnerability and dependence, yet it is also a place of joy and celebration. Families and friends gather in the sukkah, share meals, and rejoice in their blessings. Sukkot is a time to reflect on the themes of gratitude, impermanence, and the importance of community. It reminds us that even in the midst of uncertainty, there is always reason to celebrate life and give thanks for God's presence. Section 9. Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah, Embracing Joy and the Cycle of Torah. Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah are 2 holidays that follow Sukkot. Shemini Atzeret, meaning 8th day of assembly, is a separate holiday that immediately follows the 7 days of Sukkot. It is a day of solemn assembly and prayer. Simchat Torah, meaning rejoicing in the Torah, falls on the same day as Shemini Atzeret outside of Israel. It marks the completion of the annual cycle of Torah readings and the beginning of a new cycle. On Simchat Torah, the Torah scrolls are taken out of the ark and carried around the synagogue in a joyous procession. Congregants sing and dance with the Torah. The conclusion of the Torah reading cycle and the immediate beginning of a new cycle symbolizes the never-ending nature of Jewish learning. Simchat Torah is a reminder that the study of Torah is a lifelong journey. Section 10. Purim, Triumph over Adversity, a celebration of courage. Purim is a joyous and festive holiday commemorating the deliverance of the Jewish people from a plot to annihilate them in ancient Persia. The story is recounted in the book of Esther. Esther, a young Jewish woman who became the queen of Persia, her cousin Mordecai, and the Persian king Ahasuerus are the central figures in the Purim story. Haman, the king's advisor, plotted to exterminate the Jews. Mordecai discovered the plot and alerted Esther, who bravely intervened with the king. Haman's plot was foiled, and he was executed on the gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. Purim is celebrated with feasting, merriment, and the exchange of gifts. It is customary to read the Book of Esther aloud in synagogue. Costumes and masks are worn, with children especially enjoying the opportunity to dress up as characters from the Purim story. Purim is a celebration of courage, resilience, and the victory of good over evil. It is a reminder that even in the face of adversity, there is always hope. Section 11. Hanukkah, Dedication, Miracles, and the Light of Hope. Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, commemorates the rededication of the Second Temple in Jerusalem. After the Maccabean Revolt, a successful Jewish uprising against the Seleucid Empire, the temple was desecrated. The Maccabees, led by Judah Maccabee, fought for religious freedom and reclaimed the temple. When the Maccabees sought to relight the temple's menorah, they found only enough pure oil to last for one day. Miraculously, the oil burned for 8 days. This miracle is celebrated during Hanukkah by lighting candles on a special 9-branched candelabrum called a Hanukkah. One candle is lit on the first night of Hanukkah, with an additional candle lit each night until all 8 candles are lit on the 8th night. The Hanukkah is placed in a window or doorway, symbolizing the public proclamation of the Hanukkah miracle. Hanukkah celebrates the triumph of light over darkness, purity over impurity, and spirit over matter. Section 12. Conclusion, Continuity and Change, Festivals as Living Bridges. The biblical festivals of the Jewish people are not mere historical relics, they are living traditions observed for centuries. They continue to hold deep meaning, connecting Jews to their past and shaping their present. These festivals have evolved and adapted to changing circumstances. The destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE led to significant changes. The sacrificial aspects of the festivals could no longer be observed, shifting the focus to prayer and communal gatherings. Despite these changes, the core meaning of the festivals remains. They continue to celebrate the relationship between God and the Jewish people. They mark the passage of time and offer opportunities for reflection, repentance, and rejoicing. They remind us of the importance of community, tradition, and the ongoing search for meaning in a changing world. These festivals are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. They demonstrate the power of tradition to connect generations. They offer a glimpse into the rich tapestry of Jewish history, culture, and faith.